It's a beautiful tribute, not to make it about us in any way. It's just you found your own light. It's gone.
Put the glasses on.
How did we get here? We only started.
Welcome to the Wicked interviews, the strangest material on earth.
I'm talking to you both tomorrow. Have a think about it.
I think they'll remember you, George.
I think so. I think we truly did make a forever bond.
This should hopefully be the final nail in the coffin that men and women are anything similar at all. And you can't just swap them in roles, jobs, or marketing positions, because they do things like this.
When I'm watching it and when I'm living it, and, if I feel those kind of feelings, it's that power of friendship and it's the power of girlhood. What do you think makes it so powerful?
This video is going to be a collection of the best ones that I found. It's not clips I found off Twitter, it's just the interviews that I've gone through. And believe me, barely scratches the surface of what's out there.
They shift us, thank you. Thank you.
And this isn't like it's a Cynthia and Ariana problem. No, everybody that gets involved in this is a lunatic.
Thank you for watching, everybody. We know that when you see this movie, you too will be changed for good.
Jeez, snap. Perfect.
All of the publications is like, Wicked, we're definitely sending a woman to interviews those, and they were insane.
I think so. I think we truly did make a forever bond.
I'm actually engaged to be married to the OG Fierro. Well, he doesn't celebrate birthdays, he doesn't like them, doesn't like any attention on himself. But what we celebrate is Wicked Day.
In fact, the only saving grace of these interviews were the memes that came out, taking the piss out of them.
I'm sorry, I'm a little hungry.
Oh, she's hungry. This is, okay.
Because it turns out if you're a consensus machine obsessed with getting attention and then you go do Hollywood, well, it seems that it turns all those dials up to 11 and fries your brain.
Women can be really powerful. Yeah. And unapologetic about it. More beautiful because they speak their mind and they're ferocious and powerful.
So join me as we dive into the depths of depravity, which is Wicked, and desperately try and defend pure evil.
Favorite things about Wicked is that it's a story that's made so many people out there feel seen. It's a story that calls for community and inclusiveness.
Wicked is a movie about evil filth, desperately trying to pretend that it's not evil. A man made me do it. They watched a movie, saw somebody was evil that didn't have dangly bits and thought, we can't allow that. It's gotta be his fault, and then just retroactively try to rewrite history. Saying that Wicked makes you feel seen is like saying that you watch Saw because you feel it really represents your personality.
I want to play a game.
Are you going to the cinema to get glicked? If so, you should be arrested like the BBC presenter you probably are. But in the UK, we do have special rules for Wicked, not to prevent children from getting subjected to pure evil scum. No, if that was the case, we wouldn't have CBeebies. This is about a unique trigger warning that the UK got specifically. And despite the picture, it's not about her face. No, this is a trigger warning about discrimination, because a green-skinned woman is mocked, bullied, and humiliated, all because she's green. They really want to protect the broccoli that might be watching, or all the vegetarians that can't digest their food. The thing is, that would be laughable enough, but they also go, talking animals are persecuted in the setting. At least it says fantastical setting, because they know in the UK if talking animals did exist, they'd be our leader next week. We're already pretty much there. A disabled woman in a wheelchair is also treated in a condescending manner. She's also pure evil scum. I mean, maybe that balances it out. Is there a level of horrifying evil that you can do before it's right to push you down a hill with no brakes? I don't know. These are the kind of deep philosophical questions that I leave to other people. I'm just saying, if you have taken over Munchkinland and removed all of their rights just to try and prevent a man from leaving you, maybe it's acceptable for people to talk down to you in a condescending manner. Besides, they have to talk down to you. You're in a pissing chair. Then again, these are the Munchkins. They're probably the same height. Now, this actress does have a massive chip on her shoulder. I can only assume she travelled through Leeds at some point and ended up on bricks. That's gonna make anyone hold a grudge. But she says what's wrong with me is simply too low-hanging fruit that too many people are comfortable in taking. And I don't think it's low-hanging fruit so much as what are you gonna do about it? No matter how pissed off you get, they've only got to go upstairs. But as with anything in this world, when something happens to you, the first question that you should have in your mind is, do I deserve it? And is this my fault? It doesn't take long in watching her interviews. In fact, I've only seen one, implying that she does this regularly, where she's basically asked, how are you?
How much does it mean to you to be a part of this?
And immediately says, I'm in a wheelchair!
It means so much to me, especially as a disabled person.
We got 10 words into an answer before she had to bring it up.
Cast authentically, because the industry is definitely coming along, but it still has a ways to go.
Cast authentically, so the character was meant to be in a chair and you're also in a chair. Is that necessary though? I can understand why you want it to be necessary, because there's far few people who are actually in a chair, and so when you go for an acting gig, you'll have far less competition and are more likely to get roles. Basically self-interest and to increase your own bank balance. With logic like that, maybe she does see herself in Wicked.
So to actually be a part of this and to be the first ever Nessa who's authentically cast in a wheelchair is just so amazing.
All of these beliefs like representation and inclusion are innately evil, because just follow the logic. You really want the best actress for the role, but she's also got to be in a chair. Very quickly leads to the logical conclusion being a sledgehammer. Don't worry, love, I can authentically sit down as well.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Have you seen the description of us in the movie? And it was like, it didn't say old decrepit, but it said something like that.
Much like the earlier warnings, it seems that offense just means you described reality, for which the cure is always delusion. Just lie to me and affirm me, it'll be fine.
The girl is clever. She is up to something.
But then it said, then we changed it and we said, no, we're not going to be those wise
We're
women.
gonna go there. Can't we just be beautiful fairy goddesses?
Goddesses.
Yeah.
Even in a musical fairy tale, you can only stretch credulity so far.
It's the first time I realized she has nails. That's something that can pull in the look of her as well.
I mean, you can understand an evil witch having claws in a movie. They're quite animalistic and sharp. She could make the wrong gesture and just annihilate herself. The weird thing is when you start bringing them to reality, because people get curious. They start wondering how you get around with normal tasks. Which of course they take offense at. Why are you asking me how I wipe my backside? My personal opinion was that she just screwed it up into a ball and then like stabbed it. I didn't think it was that complicated. I think a better question would be, how do you stab the cat? Except at first she entirely missed the point. I was like, well, I use toilet paper. It's like, yeah, we got that, love. We meant, what are the logistics? Like, surely those talons would just rip through it. That was an image I would not have included in this piece when talking about this subject myself. His theory was that she made a mitten out of it and just like wrapped it around. It's probably safest. That you got the wrong angle and you just like slash yourself open. She seemed to be amazed by the question, though. How'd you get anything done with those nails? I mean, well, I'm here. I'm dressed. Suppose that's the only real job you have to get done as a Hollywood celebrity. Well, you know, I've got clothes on. Half of them don't even do that. But when it comes to Cynthia and Ariana's interviews, we have a healthy dose of strange that gets completely overshadowed with creepy. I mean, just look at what's happening in this clip.
Oh, yeah, I saved mine too.
I saved the voice notes and I played them. I play them a lot.
I meant it.
I know, I think it meant a lot.
There's more grabbing people and crying in that clip than there would be in your average Harvey Weinstein business meeting.
I knew I'd need these.
I know I should have brought mine too.
Oh no.
The overriding sense in all these interviews is just infantilization. These are children which have never grown up.
But I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, and I cried my eyes out. When am I not crying in public? It's so upsetting.
Even though there's a love story with a man, what we love is the true love stories between the women and the sisterhood.
One thing you notice if you watch enough of these interviews across multiple they're all the same.
She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Women and the sisterhood.
Threaten other women because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood.
As a group, they have one idea, one thought, and just repeat the same stuff. All their stories are the same, and it's just a grey mush. We're not crying over here. We're talking about how we're not going to have a love story over here, and what really matters is the sisterhood. What really matters is we just get together and celebrate evil. I mean, just the one through line through all the properties. They're always evil.
We'll explain what Soul did.
That tells me you were afraid of the truth.
It just seems to be Dad left the house, and he was the only one that had any moral. Someone else just got together and just started clapping salmon. Wouldn't it be great if we were evil and crying?
More people can learn that difference is something to be celebrated.
Why would you want to celebrate difference? Look, this is good, and you're different. You're evil. No, let's not celebrate that, actually. It is also very hilarious after my last point that they think they're celebrating difference by being exactly the same as everybody else. Every IP that's come out for years is just like this.
More people can learn that you can forgive. More people can learn that you can love.
Yes, because no one was able to comprehend basic humanity before you came along and showed them. You're literally representing evil witches. It's not a story of forgiveness. It's a story about dropping a house on one and melting the other one in water. The story of the Wizard of Oz was they got what they pissing deserved.
More people can learn about friendship.
And goats.
And goats.
Nobody had a friend before Wicked was created. Also, if your friend is an evil witch, probably stop hanging around with them. That just seems like a good idea.
And love.
And speaking their peace and their mind and what's on their heart.
That's right.
Oh, God. The world would be a better place if they kept what was in their mind there, to be honest. What deep philosophy do you think you could learn from these inspirations? The only collective wisdom I think they could provide to me is how to shield my face from magnets as I walk past the fridge.
Women can be really powerful. Yeah. And unapologetic about it.
Ah yes, the basis of any heroic story. The never-ending and constant money-grubbing lust for power.
More beautiful because they speak their mind and they're ferocious and powerful.
It's so amazing and powerful and powerful and stuff.
I love that that's celebrated.
Holy
Oh no, beautiful, because I'm powerful. This really is just getting 5 people in a room to lie to each other for a bit. We're celebrated. You're insufferable. There's a difference. But there was one of my favourite interviewers, largely because she's known for asking the tough questions.
Because I obviously always ask the tough questions. Final question, which is, because I know you've got to go, so busy. Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, she does get sidetracked a little bit. I've got one really tough question to ask you. Oh, doesn't it bring out my eyes? She's got that sharp, predatory, journalistic instinct.
Your eyes, I believe, are a kind of an emerald green.
Perfect for the Emerald City, right?
That deep insight, that witty intellect. Said, I've got green eyes. You've got a green city. Have you ever thought about casting Kermit the Frog? I think he'd fit in.
Because I obviously always ask the tough questions.
But no, she is actually my favourite interviewer for one very simple reason. She has nerves of steel.
Thank you so much. I'm going to get one piece of hair. Oh, thank you.
Can you imagine Cynthia going, you've got a bit of hair over your eye, and then you just see this talonous finger come at her from like half a mile away. She makes one wrong gesture, she's a goner on her own, and she's pointing that at your pissing eye. Those things are fake, she changes them every day. There's absolutely no way she knows how long they are at all times. Every man that's gone through a growth spurt knows how weird that was. You'd be walking along and suddenly your leg's too long and you start kicking the table. Imagine how clumsy you'd be when your fingers change length on a daily basis. And then you want to be doing surgical hair removal on somebody's eyeball. She's a braver person than me. Hang on, you've got a hair there. What on earth do you think you're doing? With those kind of nails, getting hair out of somebody's eye should be a war crime. And well, I said she was my favourite, but I do think I might prefer her colleague. Because she asked them a question, they didn't know the answer. She's like, oh, don't worry, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm talking to you both tomorrow. Have a think about it.
And her colleague said what we were all thinking.
I think they'll remember you, George.
Of course they won't. They've been up and down that red carpet. They've been doing marketing for days. One crying session is very much going to be the same as another crying session, and yet...
I think so. I think we truly did make a forever bond.
She's not joking. Watch it again. She's entirely serious.
I think so. I think we truly did make a forever bond.
This can only be the power of...
women and the sisterhood.
The sisterhood.
And goats.
And goats.
Holy
She meant it as well. She wasn't going to let them get away. In fact, the actual full interview the next day starts like this.
Ladies, I asked you last night on the green carpet.
What lyric?
I'm so glad you cut back to remind us what was going on. I can only hope you did it for them as well. Just started holding up an iPad. Do you remember this? I'm the person where you almost surgically remove my eyeball.
Do it. We left you hanging last night and we still suck.
We didn't do it. We entirely forgot about it. I actually couldn't be bothered. The moment I walked down that corridor, I forgot you existed. That's the power of the sisterhood. Men hunt in groups against dangerous enemies, go to war and stick it together in the trenches, and women lie about doing the same thing. Sure, I'll do it. Sure, I'm not doing that, you stupid slag. And it's so obvious that even the memes of these two said the same thing.
Can you go potty? Okay, love you. I love you. Girl, you know I hate that.
My girlfriend, she took her 2 little girls last night, 5 and 7 years old, and I've written down what they said. At the end of it, they said,
oh no, we better hold hands. We've got the serious critics in now. A 5 and an 8-year-old, they could destroy our career. Why are you so scared that you've got to hold hands at the mention of children? Because you don't have any. Really, one of the signs of being an adult is surely that you've just realised kids have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. They've literally never had a thought in their entire life which is worth listening to. Half of them would convert their face to chocolate if they thought they could get away with it.
you have to be good and you have to be kind to everybody.
Whoa.
And she is a good witch.
I told you the kids had no idea what they're talking about. They're pissing Eve. You are a good witch. She's evil. Let's not take the moral philosophy of a 5-year-old at face value, shall we? The greatest philosophical question that kid's ever thought about is the Kinder Surprise toy in the egg before I open it? They are not capable of understanding an evil witch lying to them.
Yeah, that's the message.
You know what I mean? It's that impact.
Yeah.
Oh God, we started crying again. A child has said something to me. Hello, if you were that bothered, love, you could have had one. Then again, judging by this reaction, if one lived with you, you'd probably flood the house.
I think she is a good witch. If kids can feel that, then yeah.
Then what? Why are we using kids as the metric for anything? They don't know what they're talking about. They haven't experienced enough of the world to even understand. A lot of them thinks the wind is generated by waves moving the air. I mean, these are not serious people. We're witnessing the interview of someone who is aware that a child is intellectually superior than them, but that's still not really a compliment for the child.
That's the point.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a point even for me as a 33-year-old girl.
Oh God, that comment really said everything you need to know, didn't it? Right there.
When I'm watching it and when I'm living it, and, if I feel those kind of feelings.
We have to feel the feelings, because if you don't feel your feelings, you won't have the feelings of the feelings. This is why you're intellectually inferior to a 5-year-old. 33 years old, hasn't worked out if feelings are irrelevant to the world. Seriously. Your feelings are something that children have, and then you grow up, they're really important to me, because I've got nothing else in my life. This is why they're so comfortable with crying, they do it themselves to sleep every night.
It's that power of friendship, and it's the power of girlhood.
I can get a man cancelled with one email to HR. Seriously, you'd think if it was that powerful, you'd stop whining about the blokes, wouldn't you?
What do you think makes it so powerful?
Lies, self-delusion, and narcissism, generally. The things really required to make you think that your feelings are actually relevant. Not just to yourself, but the world, and you should talk about them all the time.
I don't think we get to share it as much,
All you've done is share it. Every interview, you're just crying your eyes out like a child. A whiny little spoilt child. I still think she misplaced a decimal point in her age and she's actually 3.7. We don't get to show our emotions 5 seconds after she was just crying in camera.
If kids can feel that, then...
This is just scratching the surface of the interviews, and they're not even the worst ones. There's so many more. It's just that these interviews are more like an apple. They're very layered, and the more layers you peel away, the more you want to cry. Like them. And so for now, that's it from me, but we may come back in the future. But those were just my thoughts. So let me know yours down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe more videos like this in the future, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.